Stablecoins continue to have a massive spotlight in this market, but they continue to still be overlooked. And we have to be addressing this, especially when it comes to RLUSD, especially when it comes to the XRP ledger and even XRP as well. Stablecoins are going to fundamentally change the way that we utilize money, how we send and receive money, and how we even make payments, transactions, anything that you could think about when it comes to money right now. That's exactly what's going to be happening with stablecoins in 5, maybe even less years. So let's talk about this. Let's actually address this. So with that being said, welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. So let's dive on in. So we have here Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin sees a 4.4 million boost on Ethereum in just 2 weeks. Big players and exchanges are already diving in. RLUSD supply on Ethereum hits 57.6 million tokens, 611.78 million in trading volume reported in 24 hours. Major holders include Bullish, Uphold, and Bitso in terms of the key exchanges. Now, we know how big RLUSD has become in a very short amount of time. I did make a video earlier yesterday talking about the trading volume being very significant. I do think that this is just the beginning. This is like a small taste, an appetizer, if you will, before the main course comes out, because I do think that we are going to see RLUSD volume, trading volume specifically, increasing drastically over the next, few days and even weeks ahead. RLUSD is on the, in my opinion, the spotlight attention piece, if you will, for enterprises, institutions, big trading giants, big, players around Wall Street as well are still looking at this because it just makes sense. It's like Circle. It's like Tether. Stablecoins have now grown to a major level that is actually challenging the traditional payment networks like Visa, MasterCard, etc. Now, if we go over here, we actually have from Polygon, tokenization at scale, stablecoins. Stablecoins are, or as on-chain settlement tokens, are redefining global finance, offering better collateral and disrupting traditional systems. Check this out.
Let's talk about tokenization at scale, stablecoins. We're very bullish at Fireblocks on stablecoins as a use case. We think it does a few things, right? We think it gets the financial institutions into the mix, particularly the US financial institutions, if we have legislation. We think stablecoins themselves grease the wheels of online commerce, right? And maybe we can hear from Polygon's perspective on that. So we think that they're going to be really important, and that potentially 25 or 26 is the year of the stablecoin. But I'd love to hear this group's thoughts. What are the opportunities with stablecoins? Any additional thoughts you have?
I might be most bullish on that, so I'm just jumping in. What if you could rewire the global settlement system on institutional stablecoins that are yield-bearing and use them as settlement tokens? And so instead of essentially holding cash over a period of multiple days of settlement, you're actually getting yield on that. And to me, that simple twist is potentially a massive disruption in the global financial system. And I think that those products are being built right now. And I would say look no further than last week, BlackRock tokenized their money market fund on Polygon as one of 5 blockchains that they announced. And there's a lot of potential for products like that as the industry iterates on them and gets those products into the traditional financial system.
And yeah, listen, with tokenization, although stablecoins are already basically tokenized fiat on chain, when we think about tokenization in general, we are going to see, massive amounts of money obviously move on chain. Tokenization is going to change everything that we know around traditional finance because it's going to affect everything that we know around traditional finance. But the way that we are going to settle and transact with these tokenized assets is by utilizing tokenized fiat, aka stablecoins. This is why I keep telling everyone, stablecoins are such a big piece of the future of crypto. Because if we're thinking about tokenization affecting every single, thing that has value, well, stablecoins are already tokenized fiat. We're already starting to see fiat move on chain. The next thing after that is real estate, equities, everything that you could think about will be on chain. Now, also over here, we have the number of active addresses using stablecoins hit all-time highs in 2024, while trading volume stayed moderate. Translation, despite crypto market volatility, stablecoin usage is up only. And yes, stablecoins continue to become a big focus point from my point of view, simply because this is a market that continues to grow. It's a market that continues to grow. The volume around it is massive. The transactions around it are, very significant as well. And this is affecting the underlying networks, especially when we think about, XRP and the XRPL. Stablecoins are ultimately forging a path to institutional DeFi. It's forging a path to tokenization at, scale. And it's unlocking a ton of other additional use cases as well. But, if we think about these underlying networks, once we start to see trillions of dollars moving, every single, we'll say for the sake of this video, and, for me being conservative, we'll say trillions of dollars moving every single month. It's going to severely impact the underlying network in a very positive way. It's a network effect. Just like Bitcoin, has significantly, gone up in value because of retail buying, selling, and trading it. It's the same exact thing for these underlying networks by, seeing, stablecoins being bought, sold, traded, used for payments, sending back and forth between, individuals. It's the same exact narrative here. It's the network effect. But when you mix in institutions and you mix in retail and then you mix in the underlying use cases like tokenization or DeFi services, all of a sudden, that network effect is not just a small network effect of retail users. It's now a network effect of enterprises, institutions, retail, different use cases utilizing the underlying network. I mean, this is why I keep telling you guys that you're not prepared for the network effect that will hit some of these great projects like the XRP Ledger in the space. But also over here, we have stablecoins on the move, 8.5 trillion in transaction volume in Q2 of 2024 alone, 2 times the amount of Visa's 3.9 trillion. Wow. And we actually have that Q4 saw 10 trillion plus in stablecoin transaction volume. This is huge when we compare it to Visa, when we compare it to these traditional transactional giants like Visa. It's very clear on just how big the stablecoin market is. And we're already moving very quick against ACH, which moves about 21.6 trillion. When we start, challenging FedWire, for an example, that's $284 trillion tied to it in transactional volume. That's when things get very real, very fast. But right now, if we're thinking about stablecoins, 1.1 billion transactions, 8.5 trillion, that's a very significant amount of money and transactions. Stablecoins are not a small market, and they must be focused on. Now, over here we have from Altcoin Daily, this is with Chamath, we have similar to last year, how I thought the big trend was going to be Bitcoin in 2024. I would say the big trend in 2025 is stablecoin usage. Check it out.
I think the biggest business winner of 2025 are going to be dollar-denominated stablecoins.
Ooh.
I'll make 2 points. In 2024, 2 critical things happened. The first is that stablecoins essentially became uncoupled from crypto volatility, and it started to be used for wholesale useful functions in running businesses. And there's an image here that starts to show that. So independent of crypto volatility, what you saw were stablecoin usage just rising up and to the right. That's an incredibly important decoupling that happened in 2024. The second, and this data is still just trickling in, but it's an incredible stat. Stablecoin usage at the end of the second quarter of 2024 was about 1.1 billion transactions that summed to $8.5 trillion of transaction volume. If you compare that to Visa over the same period, it was more than double Visa's transaction volume. So I think what we have now is something that has fundamentally crossed a point of no return. Similar to how last year I thought that the big trend was going to be Bitcoin in 2024, I would say that the big trend in 25 is stablecoin usage. I think we're going to finally attack the duopoly of Visa and MasterCard. I think you're going to see an innumerable number of use cases that sit and use stablecoin rails. I think when Donald Trump becomes president, I think you're going to see him go after incredibly high credit card transactions and costs. You're already seeing cracks in consumer credit anyways because of these high APRs. All of this stuff is going to come to a head in 2025, I think. And I think stablecoins could quadruple or quintuple by the end of 25. I think it's just going to be an enormous market.
And yeah, it is going to be an enormous market. And this is why we look at what Ripple has done. This is why we look at what Ripple has been doing. But what's crazy about this is what it's going to do for the traditional financial system. Big shout to Smoke Dog. We have how the US will reset the financial system with stablecoins to compete with rival countries. The US faces a critical moment in reshaping the global financial system. Geopolitical competition, rising debt, and alternative payment systems challenge the dollar's dominance. China and other nations are building networks to bypass US influence, issuing dollar-denominated bonds and increasing gold reserves to strengthen their positions. These actions threaten America's leverage in global markets, demanding decision action to maintain leadership. Stablecoins present a unique opportunity to reinforce the dollar's dominance. With $3.7 trillion settled via stablecoins in 2023, they have evolved from speculative tools to essential assets for remittances, cross-border payments, and liquidity in emerging markets. Denominated in US dollars and backed by US government debt, stablecoins extend dollar influence to regions with weak banking systems. Stablecoins can secure the US's financial leadership in an increasingly multipolar world. By fostering a robust stablecoin ecosystem, the US ensures that the dollar remains central to global trade, investment, and economic stability. The future of finance may be digital, but its foundation will remain on the US dollar. Documented. Now, what's crazy about this is we have been reporting on this for a while. The IMF told us the same thing. Even the Fed told us the same thing, that stablecoins are crucial for US dollar dominance. And as they continue to be adopted, specifically US-backed stablecoins, we start to see the US dollar gain a significant hedge over the digital, system, if you will, the digital financial system that's rising. But we have resetting global terms outline of a new monetary world order. By providing a credible alternative source of dollar-based investment, China is quietly encroaching on what has traditionally been an American monopoly, the supply of safe haven dollar-denominated assets. This strategy not only threatens the unique status of U.S. treasuries, but also grants Beijing an indirect avenue to influence global capital flows and weaken U.S. leverage over the international financial system. The U.S. stands at a critical juncture. To maintain its economic and geopolitical dominance, it must act decisively to reset the terms of the monetary world order. And we have over here that one of the tailwinds, at least in the U.S., is the realization that stablecoins can fortify the U.S. dollar's position abroad, even as the dollar's global reserve currency status slips. Today, more than 99% of stablecoins are denominated in USD. And then also over here, Bitcoin and dollar stablecoins. Stablecoins add another layer to the strategic calculus, and we have down here for the US fostering a stablecoin ecosystem that aligns with its regulatory and monetary frameworks would amplify its financial reach, especially in emerging markets, while simultaneously outcompeting rival digital currencies. Stablecoins overwhelmingly reference the US dollar and are mostly backed by US government debt, indirectly reinforcing dollar dominance. And then last but not least, of course, we do have the irony of Russia's pro-crypto bill. The lawmakers last night approved a new law permitting the use of cryptocurrency for international payments. Reuters reports that the law is expected to take effect in September, and the first transactions could take place before the year's end. The saving grace for the U.S. is probably faster crypto adoption, particularly embracing U.S. dollar stablecoins. And yeah, and then what's crazy about this is, what does this mean for Ripple, right? Because Ripple is a U.S.-based company, and their stablecoin is backed by US dollars. I mean, this is a USD-backed stablecoin. And, as we really think about how interesting this is, Ripple's overall, their overall focus here is to become a powerhouse around blockchain, around crypto. But on top of this, when we think about the advisory board of the RLUSD stablecoin, look at the names here. Former chair of the FDIC and founding chair of the Systemic Risk Council. Then we also have David Puth, the former CEO of the Center Consortium and vice chairman of North America Partners Capital. Then we also have former governor of the Reserve Bank of India, former first vice president and chief operating officer at the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston. Like, these are the advisory board members around Ripple USD stablecoin, a stablecoin that is backed by US dollars. That's also, causing the US dollar ecosystem around the digital world of finance, aka stablecoins and crypto and things like that. Ripple, a US based company with an advisory board like this, is actually pushing the US dollar forward through their digital innovations. Ripple is also meeting with President Trump to make sure that, they are focused on the right things, making sure that innovation continues to prosper. But when we think about the actual players behind Ripple, right, we go to the leadership category on their website. If we look at the board of directors, some of these players, like Rosie Rios, for an example, she served as the 43rd Treasurer of the United States. She was the CEO of the Bureau of Engraving and Printing and the U.S. Mint. She led efforts to place a female portrait on the U.S. currency for the first time in over a century. But on top of that, right, when we think about these names, Sandy O'Connor, for an example, major players at JP Morgan, for an example, she led engagement with the G20 policymakers. These names mean very, very significant amounts to me. Why? Because if these are the names that are on the board of directors, if we look at the stablecoin and we look at the advisory board around the stablecoin, and when we look at how big Ripple is becoming, I don't just think that this is just a typical blockchain-based company. I think that this is a company that has now officially infiltrated the US financial system in a big way and are a key player around, facilitating this big shift from the traditional financial system to a digital financial system. And they're actually accelerating this with Ripple USD. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did enjoy this video, definitely leave a like, subscribe to notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord on the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.